Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen of the regiment. Today we got some wonderful Warhammer 3 news. The 6.3 dev blog has really revealed what a lot of the fans have been asking for a very long time. And what they have been asking for is improvements on the Tomb Kings and the Lizardmen. Now, the Tomb Kings and Lizardmen came out in Warhammer 2, and when the Lizardmen came out, they were okay, but their mechanics were kind of like like really meh out of 10. Tomb Kings, when they came out, they were fantastic. They were absolutely a blast to play. However, as the game has marched on and got progressively more, I guess you could say, interesting, they kind of got left in the dust, or they left in the sands of Nekakara. But looks like the Warhammer devs have now tried to fix them. And honestly, fix them they have, because they actually did a lot of good stuff. But let's just go into the dev blog. This is just the hello intro paragraph. Don't really have to worry about that too much. Tomb Kings, right off the bat. Okay. So, focus on improvement. Long distance between the Books of Nagash locations and far slower early game. Okay, yeah. Early game and mid game for the Tomb Kings was glacier paced. It was horrible. And in fact, I think one of the hardest campaigns you can play in Warhammer right now is Khalida, because she is surrounded by everyone that is a hard defense or hard offense against Tomb Kings. So hopefully she gets fixed as well. And Canonical Jars feel like they trail off mid-campaign. That is completely true. They completely trail off mid-campaign. Again, Canonical Jars are the currency, or the secondary currency that the Tomb Kings use. Really interesting when it came out, but they kind of, again, they didn't really touch it. Now it feels kind of lackluster. Technology, tree, and landmarks felt like they lacked impact. Yeah, it was very much like, oh, spend 5 turns to get like plus 5 melee defense type thing. It's like, yeah. Alright, okay, Confederation. So, Tomb Kings before could not confederate, which was always kind of weird, because you think Cetra could actually like bully people into his faction. Not the case. But we do have a handy guide right now. So Arcane the Black can force a confederation by Khalida and Katep, and no one can confederate him using the Motre cult. Oh, sorry, who they can confederate. So he can't use the cult to confederate anybody. That's okay. Katep, Khalida can confederate Katep. Honestly, I don't think because Katep is the Tomb King that's in the Dark Elves. I don't think she will ever fight Katep, and I don't think Arcane will ever fight Katep as well. Like, Katep is such a non-starter. I don't think anyone will actually reach there before he gets wiped out. But the fact that she can confederate using the cult, that kind of makes sense, and then Katep can confederate Khalida, which, again, I don't think Katep will ever go to, like, meet Khalida when she's still alive, because Khalida and Katep both have the same problem, as they're surrounded by very powerful enemies, and they normally get wiped out very early on. So, a bit of a non-starter and a kind of a non-thing for those two. Cetra, on the other hand, can meet Khalida, because he is right next to her, or at least like a stone throws away. So the fact that Cetra can confederate Khalida and Katep, that makes sense. And it also makes sense that no one can confederate Cetra, because Cetra does not serve, Cetra rules. There it is. So, really excited about that. Canonical Jars, now they gain post-battle kills, similar to Meat Slaves and Dark Elves, which is cool, because before, I believe the Canonical Jars were fixed. They had a fixed rate. So now it looks like probably the bigger army you kill, you get more jars, because you're basically harvesting organs and throwing them into jars. But what's also really cool, you can spend them on decrees for quick cash injection, which is great because Tomb King's early economy is very, very slow. Some research rate, which is great because Tomb Kings have a lot of things to research, and that takes a long time. Or Garrison Sally. Not... Oh, I think this is actually kind of interesting. This is probably if you spend Canonical Jars to kind of get the same thing that the Kieselvites have, where you can sally out the garrison. That's really interesting. However, I'll be honest with you, I normally play a mod that gives everyone garrison sally, And I do think that almost every garrison, or actually every faction in the game, should have Garrison Sally just as a default. It is so good. It makes everything so much better. And then, of course, we've got new banners, which is a solid okay out of 10. We get new stuff. Skills, all characters at least have one more skill. Tomb Princes, which is like their hero unit that's a melee focus, has a null path they can choose. Dynasty or Legendary Lords also have a skill, Never Say Die, which removes wounds attribute. I'll be honest with you, I'm not... I know wounds attribute is a thing, but it's like something that like I never really like care about. So I guess that's okay. It's a solid meh out of 10. Technology tree, this is the important one because technology was horrible. They had to like wait like 15 turns to unlock a dynasty, and it only increases from there. 690 techs, Wisdom of X Dynasty, have lower penalties to your research rate, which is 2. And now each has an additional effect, which is great. For example, the Wisdom of the Fifth Dynasty, just jumping ahead. Army capacity to +1, research rate -20, but now we have control +2. That's okay. I like this. I like this. Each dynasty has a small increase to unit capacity. Typically 2 for non-large units and 1 for relevant large unit. Fair enough. Each unit capacity also increases... Oh, okay, so this is huge. Each unit capacity increase also increases the recruit rank for that hero type. So the way you get more heroes is to like research them. So that means like when you research like say 5 dynasties, they'll get +5 levels, which is fantastic. That's great. That's like a nice little bonus there. I like that. All right. And these had some examples. So we only went through the Wisdom of the Fifth Dynasty. This one is talking about the Necropolis Knights and Stalkers, Vanguard deployment, which is okay. Passive ability Wayfarer, that's okay. Nothing really exciting, but like it's, I guess it's okay out of 10. Now we see how like this is all changed. So it does actually look similar to how it was before. So you unlock like the first dynasty or like whatever dynasty you want. You're not always smashed into the first one. You spend canonic jars to unlock the heroes. You can also spend the jars to unlock the Legendary Lord, which are normally pretty okay. And then you got like the research over here now. But then they also added like the Proclamation of the First Dynasty, which looks like it's just solid money, and then Patronage. So that's kind of interesting. Oh yeah, sorry. Let me just actually just blow this image up for you. So they tweaked it a little bit. It's still kind of looking the same as it was. Again, it's been a while since I played Tomb Kings, but like all this kind of looks somewhat similar, except for this bottom portion. So, all right, Books of Nagash. Okay, here's an important one. So the Tomb Kings were, you had to find these books. And as you can see, from the first one of the Books of Nagash were all the way up in Ulthuan. This one I think was a rogue army. But yeah, one of the books were all the way up in Ulthuan. There was no goddamn way you were going up there and getting the damn book. There was no goddamn hope. Like, your campaign is done and dusted by the time you get up here. And it sucks. If I remember correctly, that one was actually a really good book. But now they actually changed it so all the books are more centralized location, which makes sense that like the books in Nagash should be around the Nekakaran Desert, and you'd have like one or two like kind of off in the distance that like you can kind of like focus on, but like yeah, it's still easy to get to. So like the changes. This is a huge change. Absolutely agree with that. Fantastic. Thank you very much, CA, for doing this. Oh wait, Book of Nagash effect. Looks like they added minor increase in effects and additional effect. Each book provides an improvement to Dune Restoration, which can restore fallen construct units post-battle, which is kind of interesting. So constructs like the Upshopti and everything else like that gets basically the demon treatment, where if they get destroyed in battle, there's a chance that they get restored. It seems low right now, but these books do stack. So there's like 7 books in Nagash? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 books in Nagash, so 8 times 2, 16 points, health points, 16% rather. Destroyed. That's okay. I would probably like bump this up like a little bit more, but it's okay out of 10. And they also changed pyramid effects, so some of them were kind of useless, which is true. But they looks like they added more effects. So the Great Pyramid, etc., now gives expendable skeleton warriors and spearman units, which means that they're spammable. Well, they always were spammable, but now they don't. When they die, they don't get a leadership debuff for everyone else. And the Pyramid of I'm not even trying to pronounce that. Now gives physical resistance when fighting vampire counts, which is very thematic. Meanwhile, the City of Bronze, you can get now snipe from Umshati great bows, that's actually really good. That's very good because Umshati with great bows were again the anti-large unit, so giving them snipe is fantastic. Now we get to the Lizardmen, who also needed a bit of a tweak. Like the units are good for the Lizardmen, but the faction mechanics were really lackluster. So technology tree. Completely changed the technology tree. This is 100% different. I wish they had made a much larger image because this is just very, very small. But instead of having it in rows like it was before, now it's in like little sections. I like this. I think this is great. I think this is fantastic. It's divided into the great plans. So there's going to be like economy, and then cold blood is going to be like their warfare. So really liking this. This is something that the Lizardmen definitely needed. And more campaign focus, Saurus Beast Guardians, Cavalry Skinks. And then this is the military side, so it looks like there's Horde Expands, which is interesting. Looks like you spend like these little points there. And then you get Skirmishers, Guardians, Scale of War, which is going to be like a huge one, Cavalry, and Beasts. So, liking what I've seen from the Lizardmen tech tree, that's very much needed. Well, actually, I never really had a problem with the Lizardmen, like the old Lizardmen tech tree, but this is tweaking it to be better. It's better. Okay, economy. Looks like they're changing the economy, but were pretty. Yeah, it's constrained pretty hard in the early game. That's true. Lizards were expensive, or rather, dinos were expensive. Tweak some resource building so they provide a low amount of treasury. Oh, that's okay. The Lizardmen normally have like a lot of resource buildings in their area, so like this is actually going to be like a huge amount after a while. Buildings looks like a lot of buildings got different values. Huge one though. We add another tier to the Dread Saurian, which is like they're a huge kind of like T-Rex dinosaur unit, like they're like Godzilla equivalent. Having a cap of 1 per province always felt a bit sad. It was a bit sad. You had like this like tier 5 monster unit, and you can only build one of these buildings per province, and you have to go to the next one. So it was just like it was really annoying. After all, lizards are the oldest, so I doubt they only had 1 Dread Saurian for every 100 square miles. That's okay. But now that we can more easily spam the Dread Saurian, that's okay. I know like the Dread Saurian is like the quote-unquote like meta pick, but you know what? I fucking love the Dread Saurian. It's a giant dinosaur. Like, why not? And it looks like all dinosaurs, speaking of them, get wall breakers, so now they can actually go and attack walls, except Croxagores, which makes sense. That's okay. Croxagores normally are better at smashing down the gates anyway, so that's okay. Alright, skills. Looks like all the heroes and lords all have new skills. Heroes have minor blessings available to them. Smaller versions of lord blessings. Fantastic. Master Mundi, the fat lizard, now starts with Soul Crunch in campaign. Change that requested by the Lore Master of Sotek. Shout out to the Lore Master of Sotek. Something that makes him a much more formidable starting character. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Lore Master. Yeah, done good. Also, in case you guys don't know, Lore Master Sotek actually follows me on Twitter. I don't know why, but he does. So, shout out for Lore Master. He's unironically a great YouTuber as well. All heroes gain additional skills, and the capacity and ranks are now brought in line with those races that we have done full reworks in DLC for. Fantastic. Faction tinting. This is great. So basically, all the dinosaurs and Lizardmen is going to have little, paint on them. So the Cult of Sotek, they're going to have red paint, which actually looks pretty sharp. Not going to lie, I like it. Yeah. All right. So they, yeah, you can differentiate the factions of Lizardmen by the war paint that they wear. I love this. I think that's cool. Little neat touch. Blessed units. We got more blessed units, which honestly they should have been. They should have been done and dusted in Warhammer 2, but for some reason it wasn't. But we're getting Blessed Chameleon Skinks, Skink Cohorts, which is a solid whatever at 10. Ripple-Dactyl Riders, Sacred Croc Scores, Pterodon Riders, Razor Dawn Hunting Packs, Salamander Hunting Packs, Ancient Salamanders, and Ancient Stegodons all getting blessed units. Fantastic. And it looks like they took an opportunity to look at the spawning system. The button is now always available, but recruiting the blessed units will require the use of spawning sequences, which can be earned via missions, commandments, or performing rites. Okay, I like that. Rituals like sacrifice to Sotek and Nakai's temple rituals will add 1 to your pool, in addition to giving resources. I like that. I like that. This is a nice tweak. Trait rebalances is actually pretty good. So little tweaks, but big impact so determined, immune to psychology, leadership +3. This was like a solid like meh out of 10. Like who really the fuck cares? But now it gives character experience +30%, which is great, and then +10% hit points on top of a leadership buff, which is +15, and immune to psychology. That makes determined a lot better. Like I would now pick determined out of different. Like, it's now viable. That's what I'm saying. It's now viable to actually pick determined. Fleet of Foot, which gets Wayfarer, which is okay. that's probably like the solid like meh out of 10. Virtue Discipline gets Glorious Charge to the Knights of the Realm units. Good. Chivalry +4. No change to the melee defense. And no change to the melee defense of the Knights of the Realm. That's okay. The fact that like you get Glorious Charge to the Knights of the Realm units, though, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Again, you want your cavalry to hit hard, and Bretonnia needs to have the cavalry to hit hard. Intelligence, this is going to be a big one. Spell intensity +10%, which is great. Character experience +50%, which is huge. And of course, the usual hero self-defense +5%, and ambush defense chance +10%, with a +2 to chivalry. Intelligence is that's going to be a must-have. That is going to be a must-have for any damsel. That's just huge. Confident gets Rabble Rouser and immune to psychology with that's it, which is that's okay. Chaos Familiar gets miscast base chance 15%, and a 10% cooldown to all spells. That's going to be huge as well. That's going to be like, okay, I need to pick this now. Keymaster gets a barrier replenishment rate, it stays the same, but you get the bounce spell Infernal Gateway, which is okay. I like this. Again, tweaking like these little meh skills to be actually like viable. I love it. Absolutely love it. And it looks like the greenskins also get a little tweak. It looks like the Night Goblin War Boss, Goblin Big Boss, Black Orc Big Boss, and the Giant Troll Hag all get extra little skills, which is okay. That's okay. This is, again, tweaking the orcs just to be a little more better. I like it. I like it. I actually should do an orc. After this update drops, I think I'll do an orc playthrough. Unusual locations. These are always, I love unusual locations. They're always like just a bit more spice, a bit more, like kind of like little things of note and interesting. It's like little lore tidbits. I just love them. I just love them. All right. So they were very Old World focused when they first launched, which is true, and mostly focused on the Forces of Order. Means factions outside the Old World and races like Chaos Skaven were very limited. Fair enough. So it looks like they expanded and they're focusing on basically the Chaos tide of things. All right, and they added about 20 of them. Carnival of Chaos, Warpstar Medium Impact, Dwarven Construction Company, Abandoned Forge of Hushut, Ogre Mercenary Camp, Unearthed Tomb, Primordial Spawning Pools, Covenant of the Crimson Plague, Another Vault, Cathane Merchants, Peg Street Pawnbroker, which is kind of interesting, Purple Hand Cult, that's probably Slanesh, Underworld Sea Entrance, interesting, Faulty Doomspear, that's Skaven, a Dark Elf, that's clearly Chaos, Unstable Chaos Portal, clearly Chaos, Cult of the Crimson Skull, there's Khorne, Cult of Pleasure, there's Slaanesh, definitely, the Cabal, probably Zeech, and the Elven Enclave. Yeah, okay. And they added Camel Bloodspatter. This was first introduced in Total War Pharaoh, which is a game that none of you have played. I guarantee it. But yeah, they added blood splatter. They added mechanics from that game. So if you zoom into the battle and people die, you get blood splatter on the camera. It's kind of neat. I kind of like that. Now, audio team. This is going to be interesting. Okay. Because Wulfric and Throg, who are going to get rework in the next big DLC, now have new voiceover work. So that's great. Because, again, these guys have not been touched since Warhammer 1. So they've still had the same damn voices since Warhammer 1. So whether they're talking to, like a Bretonnian or a Chaos Demon, it's the same. Now it's different. Looks like they got the voice actors back. And now they're actually, able to say a lot more, which is fantastic. That's fantastic. I like that they're showing Norsca some love, because Norsca is like the redheaded stepchild of the Warhammer series. And Ulbrich, Le Generic, is no more. Ulbrich had generic voice lines. He never had unique voice lines by himself. But now it looks like he has, finally, his own voice lines, his own personality. That's great. That is actually fantastic. I might actually pick him at one point. Probably not, but I might actually pick him. Just to at least hear his voice. So, thank you very much for CA. Again, the CA didn't need to do this for Ulbrich, or even Wulfric or Throg, although they probably should for the later two. But it's just minor tweaks. Minor tweaks. I like that. I like that a lot. And last but not least, we'll also change the streamline and how you access the free LC content in Warhammer 3. We required you to either sign in to the CA account or Total War Access. With the release of 6.3, we're removing that requirement, so players who have neither of these accounts get Epidermis, Haldren Hammerstorm, Karnak, Ulrika, and then Halbras. Alright, cool. So everyone's basically getting the free LC without having to sign up for the CA account. Fantastic. That's awesome. Awesome. And of course it says to get free LC, you're going to, for the older titles, you like the Bone Giant DLC, you're going to have to get the Rise of the Tomb King DLC. So, what do I think from the patch notes for patch 6.3? I think this is great. I think this is fantastic. I think this is a step in the right direction. I mean an absolute sprint in the right direction. They're fixing and tweaking the Tomb Kings, which I thought that they will never do. They're fixing the Lizardmen, which I thought that they might do, but it was on the back burner. The fact that they're bringing that to the forefront, fantastic. The tweaks to the traits, to the actual greenskins, unusual locations, this is fantastic. I am glad that CA. There was a time that CA was heading down a dark path, but looks like they have avoided that dark path. And now they're back on the resplendence. I can't wait for the next DLC. I can't wait for this patch. I think it's going to be great. Thank you, everyone. This is just, again, a quick news roundup. Or actually, I don't know if it's quick. I don't know how long I've been talking. But a bit of a news roundup about patch 6.3, which I'll be playing the hell out of on Twitch. So please join me there, and we can experience this a little bit better. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the regiment. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you next time.